Hey, this is Dr. Pata. I want to talk a little bit about immigration exams and why we do what we do. I run immigrationexam.us. I run this because it's a passion project for me. I myself am an immigrant. We came over to the United States when I was 9 years old. I'm in my 60s now. And I found it very challenging when my parents came over and they had a tough time navigating the immigration system. I became a naturalized citizen and we went through the process. Now, it's interesting to me because it's a very expensive process. It's not something that's going to cost you $20 or $30. And it's fairly expensive. The exam component's expensive. The actual filing of the paperwork with the 485 forms is expensive. There's a whole series of expenses. And if you use a lawyer, it could be another $5,000 to $15,000. So it's not a cheap process. It's not something that you're just going to say, oh, this is nothing. It's not a big deal. And it's really important to have some sort of guarantee. And I've thought about this a lot. And to de-risk my patients, to reduce their risk and reduce their complication rates, as in terms of feeling like, hey, I'm not going to be able to get my immigration done correctly, and I'm going to have spent all this money. We wanted to de-risk that portion, at least from the medical exam component. So we came up with a way to do it. We found that we're pretty much the only people around that do this. And let me explain how this works. So here's the thing. We give you a full refund protection. The key element, though, is that we have to have very careful documentation and we have a completely transparent process. We tell you exactly what we're going to do, why we're going to do it, how we're going to do it, when we're going to do it. And we want you to have all of that information so that you can work with us to make you successful. How does this work? Well, we complete your exam. We do it in person. We do it in our office. This is not a telemedicine visit. This isn't a do some paperwork online and then talk to somebody and then you get a rejection and you don't know why and all that stuff. No, we're actually physically seeing you. We're laying eyes on you and we're helping you through the process and understand what it is that needs to be done. The critical elements for immigration is that the US government, if you meet the reasons why you should be an immigrant, they want to make sure you don't have a communicable disease. They want to make sure that you're safe for the community and that you're a reasonable person as in terms of other medical issues, that you've had your immunizations, that you're not somebody that's extremely high risk for them. They want to make sure that all of these guidelines fit. And then if you've met all of their criteria, they'll offer you an immigration green card. If your rejection occurs, it's usually due to a narrow specific reason, but it's not always the reason that they tell you. And that's one of the things that we've figured out a little bit. If you get rejected and it's because of us, we're going to fix the problem from our standpoint and we're going to give you your money back. So we'll do the exam for free and we're going to give you your money back because we don't want you to have to go through that hassle. But let's talk about what these requirements are. In order for us to refund your money and in order to further complete this paperwork, you have to give us that rejection notice. They're going to send you a letter. It's going to be 3 to 4 pages long. And in that letter, they're going to list exactly why you were rejected. Now, they may say, oh, you need another medical exam, or that you need a completion of a medical exam, or they may say you need additional vaccination. But that's not a rejection of what we've done. What that means is something else has been requested, and along the way, somewhere, an auditor has decided that you didn't meet some criteria. That's outside of our scope. We'll do our medical requirement compliance checklist. We'll go through what is medically necessary. We'll sign off on the paperwork that's appropriate, and we'll notify you immediately, hey, we don't think you're going to meet up with these requirements, and this is what you have to do. But if the auditor discovers, hey, this piece of paperwork that was submitted is wrong, or there's some other error, then that's not part of what we can do. That's something that's outside of our capacity. Things that are outside of our capacity, outside of our control, is when you go for your USCIS interview, it's a credibility assessment. It's not just you're going to go sign some paperwork. They're actually assessing your credibility and your validity as in terms of ability to integrate into the US community. They're trying to figure out, is your financial history correct? They're trying to determine, are there inconsistencies in the information you provided? They're looking at your background issues. They're looking at your passport from previous. They're looking at the exact spelling of your name. Does the city of birth match up to where you said it was? Is the date of birth exact? Do you have some legal issue that they're not aware of that you didn't tell them about? Do you have some personal affiliations with something that they don't agree with? And the US government is highly variable. So there's a lot of changes that happen over time, and you may be fine under one administration, but you may not be fine on another administration, and things change very rapidly. So the affiliations that you have personally in the past may come back to haunt you in the future. They're going to ask you questions about your immigration intent. Why are you trying to become an immigrant? What's going on? Do you have some other undisclosed medical condition? Did the reason that you say that you couldn't have this vaccination, and you told us that, not the same reason why you told the immigration people? If there's any discrepancy, that's outside of our control. So also, sometimes there's changes in policies, and these can happen rather rapidly. You may submit your paperwork on December 31st of 2024, and on January 22nd of 2025, they change the rules. And you're going for your USCIS interview in March of 2025. They're going to apply different guidelines to you. They're not going to apply the guidelines that you had. And because they're going to reject part of that, they're going to tell you, you need to go back and do your immigration exam again because the paperwork has changed. That is outside of our control. If it's something that we've done that's inside of our control, that's our responsibility to you, and that's our guarantee to you that we're going to fix that problem, and we're going to refund your money, because we don't want to take anybody's resources that we shouldn't be having. And our guarantee is that we want to make sure that you've done this correctly and that we've done it correctly for you. We have over a 99.8% approval ratio, and 100% of our staff is certified to do this. So we are very confident in how we do what we do and why we do it. And God forbid we make a mistake, we're going to fix it on our end immediately. We're different than a lot of other agencies that do this, like Simple Citizen and Road to Status. All of these are other companies that do immigration services. But you know what? They don't do in-person medical exams. They may guarantee that your paperwork is okay, but they don't do any of these in-person medical exams. And so there's no refund on the in-person medical exam, which is what we do. We complete the paperwork and we do the in-person medical exam, and we'll refund you 100% if there's some issue. We don't want to have a complication for you. We are on your side. We want you to do well. We want you to be well integrated into this new country. So the important context here is that the USCIS interview is more than just a paperwork issue. It really is looking at your credibility. It's looking at your readiness to incorporate into the community. It's not just a document verification. Don't ever think that USCIS interview that you're going to have is just a formality. They're verifying and validating and checking for compliance. And there's a whole host of questions that they're asking in a very subtle way to determine your credibility and to make sure that you're a good person. And they may reject you on a medical basis, but there may be 6 other things in there. And the reason why they're saying it's medical is because you have to redo your medical. That's not what this guarantee is about. This guarantee is, did we make a mistake in your medical? If the USCIS interview rejects you and there's other reasons, that's a different story. And that's why we have to see that USCIS letter to make sure that we've got the information correctly. We specialize in this area. This isn't just marketing. This is a guarantee. We don't want to have mistakes, and we want to do this extremely well for you, and we want to help you the best we can. If you have any questions, reach out to me. We're located in St. Louis, Missouri. It's immigrationexam.us. We have a whole host of folks that we work with that can help on language and things of that nature. And there's a whole host of electronic tools. So if you have a difficulty communicating, we can use some of those tools to assist as well. Your next step is schedule an appointment. if you want us to help you and you're in this area, St. Louis, people drive 150, 200 miles to get to us, schedule your appointment. We can get your exam done. And then you can proceed with your immigration application. Everybody that goes through the immigration application process has to have a I-693 exam. And we're really good at it. And what differentiates us is that we provide this guarantee that most people don't. All right, thanks.